1,000 Zionists in Caulfield that will say flatten Gaza, unalive the babies.
And how many? And if you want to use that, how many Muslims can I find that will say
Good point.
wipe Israel off the map?
I don't believe that's true. I'll condemn that. But you won't condemn the Israelis who say, would you condemn the Zionists who say...
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why I'm telling you, you're full of shit. You're taking little examples like the one man that pulls off the hijab and you're portraying everyone like that.
Yep.
The community here, are you...
That's what they do.
I'm not going to give you the reaction you want.
This man is right.
This man is right. Come, join the conversation.
I don't have time, but
The people support me. The world supports me, guys. I don't...
The world. One person shows up to say this man is right. The world supports me. One person. How you guys doing? Today we're watching Avi Yamini from Australia from Rebel News talking to this Hamas sympathizer about Israel, Palestine, and about Christians in the Middle East. Let's watch the video.
I'm a real man facing you face to face.
I'm here.
In front of thousands of Israelis.
Because they'll never get violent. They're not like you guys.
By myself.
Because they're not like...
So when I spotted Roman again in the city, I decided to approach him, this time without his usual aggressive entourage, to see if he was actually capable of having a rational conversation. And I got to admit, it started surprisingly well. Roman was on his best behaviour. But keep watching, because once he's pressed on a few of his false claims and can't back them up, his true colours quickly come through.
Are you still going to the protests these weeks?
Yes, I still am staunchly pro-Palestine. I believe that there should be a two-state solution to start off with. I believe that the war should end. I believe that innocents on both sides should not be killed.
How do you feel about the protests in Gaza at the moment by Palestinians against Hamas, not Israel?
Look, I think that the Palestinians are in a dire situation where they just want to survive. They just want to eat. They just want their family members to survive. They just want to be treated like humans. And if Hamas is not going to do that, or the IDF is not going to do that to them, then an international body should actually take charge and be like, we need to give Palestinians human rights, their own land, their own freedom, their own safety, even if that is a new government. But, I mean, I don't live there. I don't understand what the resistance fighters are going through, you know?
So why do you think, though, your protest group, none of them are kind of amplifying the voices of Palestinians in Palestine that are calling for a regime change of Palestine, calling for the end of Hamas, which is something everybody should agree on?
Because they're not in Gaza. They don't understand the situation. If I was in Gaza and I want a new political party, how can they vote in a new party when they're now, just today, they just received orders to move out of Rafah into a safe zone?
Sure, but you're saying they're not in Gaza, so they can't comment about what's happening there. But you guys are not in Israel. You guys are not on the border. You guys are not in Palestine the whole time. And you're very quick to condemn the Israelis. But suddenly when the people you say you're standing up for and you're protesting on behalf of are saying, set Palestine free from Hamas.
Look, I mean, if Hamas commit atrocities or injustices, if they do it in situations, then I will condemn it in situations where they mistreat civilians and there's no, like, a voice for the Palestinians too.
It's okay for you to condemn it, but should they keep ruling Gaza? That's the question that should be asked. Should they keep ruling Gaza?
However...
So will you condemn them for the way they've been treating those protesters? There's videos now online circulating.
100% I'll condemn that. The thing with me...
And what about October 7? Like also for what they did on October 7, do you condemn that?
100% I condemn the killing of innocents, yeah? Innocent...
You've progressed, Roman. You've really changed.
Jewish lives, innocent Muslim lives, we're all human, yeah? I wish there was... Call it Israel or Palestine or whatever, yeah? I wish there was a land where Muslims, Christians and Jews can live together
Israel.
peacefully. Because you're allowed to believe in whatever faith you want. I'm allowed to believe in whatever faith I want. If he's a Christian, he can be a Christian. If that means we can't live side by side, or if you want more land, if you want 65% of my land, and you want a legal settlement, or if I'm like, no, you shouldn't be alive because you're Jewish, that's not right. That's not how it should be. Now, the amount of lives lost, not just in Palestine, in Syria, in Africa, in China, and
in Israel,
everywhere else in the world, we need to change our mindsets. We need to be like, let's put an end to the corruption. We've seen what Netanyahu's done. We've seen what Hamas has done to civilians.
What has he done? I don't understand. Any other leader that would be in Benjamin Netanyahu's shoes would have done exactly the same thing. Doesn't matter if he was left-wing or right-wing, they would have all orchestrated exactly the same retaliation. Why wouldn't they? You know, the outrage that would be here after the attack that happened here on October 7th from the Israeli population, that would go wild.
To Israeli civilians. We have seen what the West has done. We have seen what even extremist Islamic groups have done. The thing with me is when I condemn violence or I condemn injustice, I condemn it on a whole. I'm not just pointing fingers at Israel. What Israel is doing is evil. What Hamas did is evil. I will point...
Hamas is still doing evil things, such as hiding behind their civilians and putting weapons in schools and in hospitals and taking humanitarian aid from the civilians. They're still doing evil, a lot of evil, a lot more evil than Israel. Israel's just conducting a war against these terrorists to release the hostages and eradicate Hamas.
Fingers at the people doing wrong. If I saw an innocent woman being attacked by a man, I'll go up to that man and I will stop that injustice.
Why did you wait? What's this new Roman? What's happened to you? Because you haven't been like that every time I've bumped into you until now, and this is nice. I welcome this. I think that more conversation between Australians is what we need to have, even though we both obviously come from our perspectives. What's changed for you?
Because with me, I keep an open mind. I look at things from a logical perspective. And I'm allowed to have my views and opinions. That doesn't mean that we have to fight in Melbourne. As much as I believe in what I believe in, me going to that pro-Israel protest and intimidating you guys or creating a scene, that's not the way to do it.
Do you regret that?
I don't regret it because I still made that decision. And looking back, when I was full of emotion, when I was like, how can these people support the unaliving of innocent children? How can these people support a genocide? How can these people stand with a government that has committed atrocities they do? The same way, if you saw a group that was like...
Every single week on the street celebrating Hamas.
But the thing is, at that pro-Israel protest, you didn't have Muslims. You didn't have Palestinians there, yeah? We have Jews for Palestine.
You have token Jews, and we also had token Muslims. You can say there weren't.
Jews for Palestine is actually
Muslims for. I have a good friend that's a Muslim.
Good friend. Okay, when it comes to
Muslim, I'm saying Muslim for Israel. There are plenty of them, but the point is
Muslims for Israel. Okay. If you compare Jews are a very small minority in the world. There is 1.8 billion Muslims, and when you look at the amount of Jews who stand up, because it's not Avi, it's not a matter of you're Jewish, I'm Muslim, yeah? Even though the media wants to portray it like that. It's humans wanting to be human. Why
do so many Muslims want to kill me?
Do you know why Nazi Germany tried to get away with what they did? They dehumanized the Jewish population. The anti-Semitism in the 30s and 40s started with dehumanization. So when you have Israelis, or even Palestinians calling Israelis not human for what they're doing to them, when you have Israelis being like unalive Palestinian babies because they're going to grow up to be Hamas, that's not right. And a majority...
That's not why babies are dying in Gaza. Babies are dying because Hamas is hiding behind them. And when a building is being bombed, after, of course, Israel warns the civilians that the building is going to be bombed, Hamas tells them stay to become shaheeds. And then they die. The world sees it, outraged. And this is the Hamas propaganda, Hamas strategy.
Majority of the Israeli comments I've seen, majority say unalive all Palestinians, wipe them out. When I see comments like this, I don't believe to wipe out every single Israeli civilian. That's not going to.
You feel the same way when you're in Muslim groups here in Australia that have for many years called Jews Kalb and every other.
I'll condemn that.
So that goes two ways. I agree with you, and that's. I think most Jews would agree with you in that position. It's a very different position you're coming at than when you did that time. Now, you mentioned all these wars that have gone on around the world, but why don't we see your protesters, the majority of the people that come to your protests, they never talk about any of those other issues. They won't dare talk about the Palestinians in Gaza right now protesting against Hamas. Why is it they've got this specific place in their heart to hate just Israel?
I think it's personal for a lot of people.
Why?
So I'm 29 years old. 19 years ago, when I was 10 years old, I asked my dad to take me to my first ever Palestine protest. When I was 10, I had a hope, I'm like, hopefully in the next few years, this will all be done and over. Jews and Muslims will live peacefully. Palestinians and Israelis will live peacefully.
Jews and Muslims already live peacefully in Israel. That's already the case. The problem is with the Muslims from Gaza and from area A, Judea and Samaria. They are the problem. They will do whatever it takes to destroy the Jewish state.
That was my dream as a 10-year-old, yeah? 19 years later. So imagine living with that for 19 years, knowing there's injustice going on in the world. I don't know how some IDF soldiers sleep at night. If I was a IDF soldier and I know that hundreds of kids died in the last few days, you look at October 7, yeah? You look at 9/11.
Me as a soldier, I would sleep pretty well knowing I'm protecting my family, my mother, my father, my friends, by stopping terrorists from invading the country, from committing attacks. I would sleep very well. That's the point of a soldier, of the Israeli Defense Forces.
These one-day events have been used to justify massacres. You look at Iraq. How many people died in Iraq? 2 million people died in Iraq. Was George Bush right? Did they find weapons of mass destruction? You look at these wars.
In Iraq and Afghanistan, between 300,000 to 1 million people estimated died, not 2 million.
It's justified by single day.
It's very. Look, you're comparing apples and oranges. I'll tell you why. Because an Israeli soldier. I'll tell you why. An Israeli soldier goes out to defend his country. The Americans went and invaded Iraq or whatever. Israelis are protecting literally their families, their life. You're talking about Hamas that has in their charter saying that they will wipe them, their mother, their sister, their wife, their kids out. So it is about the existence. You're fighting for your existence. You're fighting for your life. I can also, and you would be surprised how many Israelis or Jews actually sympathize with a rational Palestinian position. But the problem is it becomes really hard to rationalize with, to sympathize with it when you see people like the way you behaved, both when you threatened me to a rabbi or when you came to the protest, or when they were cheering on the October 7 attacks, and then when they realized that the world wasn't really with them in support of that, they started to deny they even happened. Do you understand why that is, and why you talking the way you're talking now is exactly what we need more of in Australia?
I understand that. I have seen videos of October 7 hostages, their family members speak while they're in Israel, while they're protesting Netanyahu. Yeah, Israel have their own domestic...
Because you can do that in Israel. You can't do that in Palestine.
You can do that. Have you seen what they do to the Orthodox Jews who are for Palestine and Israel? Have you seen what they do to the Christian nuns who walk around in the extremist group? Have you
complete
seen what the
nonsense.
settlers?
It's complete nonsense.
The government of Israel have given weapons to illegal Israeli settlers. That's not nonsense. You can...
It's not the majority. What's happening with Christians is condemnable. The Jews that spit on Christians is an absolute minority, very, very, very small percentage, and I condemn it. But the majority of Israel, the majority, I would say probably 95% of the Israelis that live in Israel respect everybody. 95%. Unless you start to do shit against the Jewish people, such as terror attacks.
Look, Avi, I'll admit to injustice. You have to admit.
No, I think that.
Illegal Israeli settlements.
I think some Israeli.
You have to condemn that.
Some Israeli policy I don't agree with. But what were you bringing up about the Orthodox religious Jews protesting? They're protesting joining the army for religious reasons, look, and the nuns. You're talking about.
Avi, because you're portraying
single
Israel.
incidents.
You're portraying Israel.
Give me one example. Because give me one example. One country in the Middle East at the moment where Christians are safer than in Israel.
None.
I'll make it easier for you. Give me one country in the Middle East where the Christian population has grown since 1948, other than Israel.
Well, I can't comment on that.
I'll tell you, it doesn't exist. Israel is the safe haven for Christians in the Middle East. Now, does that mean that you don't have single races?
Israel is also the safe haven for Muslims in the Middle East. Quite frankly, Muslims are freer in Israel than in any other country.
That are idiots and deserve to get condemned.
Muslim country.
And locked up? Absolutely. That's like saying you have some Aussie here that pulls off the headscarf of a Muslim woman. Is that Australia? No. Most Aussies would condemn that person. Most Israelis condemn.
So are you saying most Israelis condemn the mindset that Palestinians shouldn't have human rights, Palestinians shouldn't have their own land, Palestinians shouldn't have the right to self-determination? Because I'm telling you, Avi, what you're saying...
You're conflating things, but
no,
whatever.
what you're saying and what I've seen and what I've heard is different, yeah?
Maybe you've got an Aussie passport, right?
Yes.
You can go to Israel. You can see it for yourself. And if you're as open-minded as you say you are, and I have hope for it, because I look at you now and you're a changed man than the aggressive kind of violent thug you wanted to portray yourself as to that rabbi in the university and to me, to my face on that day. So I accept it, and I think that if you are as open-minded as you say you are, go and see it for yourself. Go and see how people, mate, do you know what? I actually have 2 Muslim kids. I don't like this idea that everyone thinks they know everything about the Jews and the way they think or how Israelis think is complete nonsense. Final word to the people. If you could go back in time, would you have acted differently? I know you don't want to say you regret because you're the kind of person that finds it hard to admit that you did something wrong. If you could go back in time on that university campus, would you find a different way to approach that rabbi that time you threatened me and on that day outside Parliament? Would you have acted differently?
Well, based on the pro-Israel activists or attackers who attack the encampments, I wanted to show them that if they want to be bullies, they can try and bully me, because one, you cannot threaten or put fear in my heart. The Palestinians, they don't have an army, they don't have an airbase, but they're fighting because
we're in Australia. Don't blame other people. I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about other people.
I wanted to show that if you want to attack students who are just at a peaceful encampment, I will be there. I will defend them.
But that's not what you did. You said you were going to get me.
The night I went to Monash, I saw footage. Of you going to an encampment.
Me.
I did what I did. Plus, on the
me,
day,
I went to an encampment.
No, you went to Melbourne Uni. I saw. And
sure, having conversations with people. I never turn. Have you ever seen me turn violent?
You served in the IDF.
Have you ever? You don't know what I did in the IDF. Have you ever seen?
You know what you did in the IDF.
Yeah, I know exactly what I did. I'm proud of myself in the IDF.
You're proud of unaliving civilians.
You see, that's
the IDF.
You've just jumped.
OF.
They'll always jump to an emotional point. Always, always, always. These people can't have a rational conversation, a logic. He said he's a logical person. He's clearly not a logical person.
I call him idol. Okay, do you believe the IDF is a moral army?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Give me a comparison of another army that's more moral than the IDF.
Another army? I would say the Australian army is more moral.
Really? Have you seen what they did in Afghanistan, Iraq?
My own people, yes. But they're still more moral than the Israeli army.
Really? Do you know their ratio of combatants to civilians kills the Australian army compared to the Israeli army? You don't know that because that's my point. Because you have an internal bias and hatred.
I hate anyone that commits atrocities and injustice.
But you hate the Israelis. You hate the Jews more. You hate the Israelis more than people that have killed more.
No, I'll hate the Nazis as much as I hate the IDF.
Well, so now you're just calling the Jews Nazis. That's the claim.
IDF soldiers who say unalive all Palestinians and want to commit genocide and atrocities.
If we wanted to unalive all Palestinians, we could have done that on October 8th, but we're not doing it. We're very patient. We're going house to house and trying to find as many Hamas terrorists as possible, kill them and arrest them. It's very sad when people die in the way. You don't want that to happen, just release the hostages and Hamas needs to surrender. The war ends the same day. How about that?
Which Holocaust survivors have called a genocide.
You know what? Stop relying on other people to tell you that.
Your own people.
I've been in the army. I know what the army does.
The genocide in Gaza, a genocide.
I know.
You know that you admit it.
No, I think that there are bad. Like I gave you the example of the one Aussie that pulls the hijab off. Does that mean all Aussies are that?
No.
Okay.
But I don't.
So hold on. I've served in the Israeli army. I've been to Israel. You haven't done neither, and you're telling me what the Israeli soldiers think and say.
I'm not just telling you. I'm saying go search it yourself. You don't.
I'm saying go.
He doesn't need to search. He was in the army. He was in Israel. He knows more than you.
I'm saying I don't believe what you're saying. Why don't you go do it yourself?
Technology, yeah. You watch. All right. You remember the 2 nurses in Sydney, yeah? Who said that? I promise you, I will find 1,000 Zionists in Melbourne who say wipe out Gaza, flatten it, turn it into a carpet lot. 1,000. I promise you that there's 1,000 Zionists in Caulfield that will say flatten Gaza, unalive the babies.
And how many? And if you want to use that, how many Muslims can I find that will say
good point?
Wipe Israel off the map.
I don't believe that's true. I'll condemn that. But you won't condemn the Israelis who say, would you condemn the Zionists who say...
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why I'm telling you, you're full of shit. You're taking little examples like the one man that pulls off the hijab and you're portraying everyone like that.
Yep.
The community here, are you
That's what they do.
I'm
telling
not
me
going to give you the reaction you want.
Man is right.
this man is right? Come, join the conversation.
I don't have time, but
The people support me. The world supports me, guys.
Okay,
I don't.
The world. One person shows up to say this man is right. The world supports me. One person.
All I have
That
to
doesn't
do,
make you right.
Do you know what?
Do you know you
We
can join
live
a
in
mob.
day of
You can
age
join a
of
mob.
Technology, guys. Search it for yourself. Look what the IDF soldiers do to the homes. Look what they do to children. Look at the footage. Did you see that? On October 7th, they claimed Hamas beheaded 40 babies.
No, they
To this
don't.
day,
No, they
yes,
didn't.
did.
Show me the footage
Yes,
where
they did.
Show me the footage.
Israel never claimed they beheaded 40 babies. It was an outside reporter who claimed that babies and children died. 40 babies and children died, and some were beheaded. That's what she claimed. Not all 40 babies. Don't make it up.
To this day, they haven't
I was
done it.
there. I was there. I was there on the day.
difference is-
I was
the
there on the day.
difference
Do
is
you want to know what actually happened?
Israelis
Do you want to know what
claim
actually happened? Do
something.
you want to know what happened?
Israelis
No.
claim
Don't make it lie.
Palestinians show you.
Okay.
Palestinians record it as it happens.
I
They're
know.
like, watch. This is my whole family being unalive.
No, you're right.
This is my whole neighborhood being bombed.
Roman, you're
Palestinians
right.
will show you.
They did show us. They showed us on October 7th.
Israelis will hear
They
a
showed us on
siren.
October.
Will hear a siren. Go into a building as an influencer. Record themselves. Be like, oh, I just got my matcha latte from Starbucks. There's a siren. I'm so scared for my life.
There's no Starbucks in Israel.
An hour later, they'll be partying at a beach club while there's Palestinians being bombed. That's the difference.
No,
between
I
the
agree with you. The
argument.
Palestinians do show
And
us.
then they-
On
when
October
they
7th,
hear-
they
when they
showed
hear
us.
Gaza being
They showed us.
bombed,
And then you denied it.
cheer.
And then you
When
denied
they
it.
hear children
And then you
being
denied it. When on October 7th, when they showed us what they did, then you denied it. And then you took this one scenario. Show me now the footage. Because you know how
I'm not gonna get my
hold
phone
on.
out,
You
so
know why?
I
You
can show
know.
you
Hold on.
millions of
Hold on.
clips of
You know how I
Palestinian
know that 40 babies, beheaded babies story? Do you know how I was there when it was said, and it was mistranslated and taken by the media, and a day later, who corrected the record?
What do you
No,
mean?
no, who-
Israelis claim that.
No.
Israelis
No,
It was all
Zaka-
of Israeli
yeah,
media
there was-
and
it's-
American media. The West. The
Hold,
West
no,
loves
hold
to
on.
milk
No,
it.
stop deflecting.
The West
Hold
loves
on.
to milk it. Look at Avi's body language. Look at mine. I'm talking to you directly. He's getting defensive.
His body language is the most defensive.
That just shows you the world
You're-
is on my
you-
side.
you're changing the
because
story.
No matter what Avi says,
Because he doesn't let him speak.
you do your own research. You go online. The world is against
Who
Israel.
said the 40 babies? Who said the 40 babies?
Why is TikTok being banned?
Who said 40 babies?
Why is TikTok being banned?
Bro, you're telling me TikTok. Are you on TikTok?
Because
Are you on TikTok? Are you on TikTok? Are you on TikTok?
Pro-Palestine propaganda is being censored.
Who's banned on TikTok? Me or you?
TikTok is
Who's
being
banned
in
on
America.
TikTok?
I'm not
you
banned
or
on
me?
TikTok.
Okay. Wait, this massive
TikTok is-
Zionist
TikTok
conspiracy.
is
I'm the
being
one
banned in
banned.
America. Why?
I'm banned.
No,
I'm banned. You're not banned.
But
It's
you're
a,
banned
it's a
because of what you've
Palestinian
done.
plot.
You've recorded like instigating situations, and TikTok has reported your videos. That's their algorithm. Everything
hold on,
I've
hold on,
done,
wait.
I haven't been
So now it's the algorithm.
You haven't been banned. And
Yes.
you share
Are
all
you
this
saying
pro-Palestinian stuff.
pro-Palestinians control the media.
What, so are you saying
Is that your argument?
do Jews control the media? Is that the problem?
Oh wait, in America they have huge influence. Trump is Netanyahu's bitch.
Who came up with the claim of the 40 babies, Anton? Answer the question.
He is. He pulled the chair out. Look at how he treated Zelensky. Look at how he treated Netanyahu.
Tough guys, I don't want to watch the whole video. I want to provide some support for Avi Yamini, so please, I'll attach the full video down in the description below. Watch the full video, support him, subscribe, like, and of course leave a comment on his videos. He's a great guy. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again in the next video, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. It's about to hit 100,000 subscribers. It's insane. And if you want to support me financially, you can do so through Buy Me Coffee or Patreon. Thank you for watching. I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.